Hi, everyone. I'm Tracy Vichers, the Executive Director of It's On Us. Thank you so much for joining us for today's welcome session for the It's On Us and NRAPE on Campus Summit Series kickoff, which starts today and runs through August 13th. We're so thrilled to see so many people have signed up to participate in our workshops throughout the coming weeks. If you are interested in signing up for other workshops, please visit the link bit.ly/summit series 20, and that will take you to the landing page where you can sign up to participate in all of the future webinars. We're going to just do a quick round of introductions and then get this party started. So folks know we will be taking questions at the end. So you'll be allowed to send questions via writing to the host, and then we will answer them as they come through. So thank you so much, and I will pass it off to Kenyora.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kenyora Parham. I'm the Executive Director of NRAPE on Campus. Welcome to our Summit Series.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elvin Bruno Jr., and I am the Director of Campus Organizing here at It's On Us. We're so excited to have you here today.
Hey, everyone. My name is Sylvia Zenteno, and I am the Director of Educational Programs and Training here at It's On Us.
And while we're so excited to have you join us for our Summit Series, I just want to say that we are so excited to be in partnership with It's On Us for this Summit Series. And for those of you who may not know what NRAPE on Campus is, we essentially work to end campus sexual violence by providing direct support for survivors in their communities, prevention through education, and direct policy reform on the campus, local, state, and federal levels. So before we give you more of the logistics of, how this Summit Series is going to go for the week and upcoming weeks, we want to just bring you into just who we are and provide you some insight across our teams and why we do this work and why we're here. So for me, I'll start. And I'd like to say that I like to think that what brought me into this work was due to the women in my life, the foundation of my womanhood as a Girls Inc. alumna, a women's college graduate, and being a Delta woman that brought me into this work. Since I was in elementary school, I have not only witnessed childhood and domestic abuse, but as a child, I very first-handedly experienced a little bit of that, as well as growing up, whether it was in middle school, all the way to high school, from undergrad to graduate school, I began to notice my life specifically was surrounded by misogyny and racial discrimination, together synchronized with hypersexualization and adultification and sexual violence, whether it was either upon myself, my friends, and other Black women and people of color, and women and girls. So for me, I knew as a young child that I wanted to do something that empowered and uplifted the voices of Black and people of color across the gender spectrum. And from my career, it's been surrounded by being a change agent for other young people, from mentoring to program development and creation, and to where I'm at now, leading a national organization where the mission is to end campus sexual violence. So as the great American writer, feminist, womanist, and civil rights activist Audre Lorde has once stated, "I am not free while any woman is unfree, even when her shackles are very different from my own." And if you know Audre Lorde, her dedication around advocating for sexual rights, for civil rights, was across the board. She fought against injustices from racism to sexism, classism, ableism, and heterosexism and homophobia. And to me, in this work, all systems of repression are inextricably linked and intersectional. What we know is that not every survivor's experience of sexual assault is monolithic, and that's why I do this work. I hand it off.
Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for that, Kenyora. I also want to share a little bit about what brings me to this work. So it goes back to when I was in college, and unfortunately, I had experienced some sexual violence while I was there without even knowing that that is what it was. I didn't know what to call it, where to go. I didn't know if I was going to be okay physically. And when I decided to report to my school, I was discouraged from filing my report formally because our Title IX coordinator, and honestly, someone that I would call a friend, told me that the process was not friendly to victims and that it could cause me further harm. So I do this work now because I believe that we can work towards a world where survivors in college and of all ages have choices and are empowered to heal in the ways that they need when they need it, and as a community as well. So, however, when I entered this field, I did feel very alone again. So I'm also here to tell other first-generation Latinas that you are not alone.
Thank you, Sylvia. I just want to talk a little bit about what brings me to this work, and it largely has to do with the belief that every student, no matter who they are or where they come from, deserves to receive an education that is free from violence in any forms. And being so closely involved with our student organizers and leaders over the last few years keeps me drawn to this work. I know that you all have been the change makers on campus, fighting for the change that you wish to see on your campus, organizing each and every single day, and now virtually through this difficult time of the pandemic, to make sure that everyone on your campus has access to this opportunity and an education free from all forms of violence. So that firm belief and just working with all of you keeps me very grounded and keeps me drawn to this work. So thank you.
Hi, everyone. What brings me to this work is I'm going to age myself a little bit here, but I graduated college in 2010. And that was before the first Title IX Dear Colleague letter came out. That was before It's on Us was started. That was really before the campus movement writ large had become a movement. At the time that I was at school, it felt like sexual violence was something that was unique to just my campus community, that it was something that happened at my school, but not other schools. And I didn't know why. And I also didn't know why my school didn't feel like my school was taking the incidents of sexual assault that had happened to myself and others on campus as seriously as they should have. And so in 2011, when the Department of Education under President Obama and Vice President Biden announced the Dear Colleague letter for the first time, it felt to me like finally someone heard, somebody was listening, somebody was paying attention to what was happening to college students all across this country. And for me, it really validated a lot of the experiences and I believe others had at their schools, to see that this wasn't just a problem that was unique to my school. This was an issue nationally on college campuses and universities. And it was really, really just a moment for me to say, okay, like, this is happening everywhere, and what do I do to ensure that this issue of campus sexual assault is dealt with, and that we support survivors, we advocate for their rights, but also we work to prevent sexual assault before it happens. Because I fundamentally believe no college student should graduate school with a 1 in 4 chance of having experienced sexual assault while they were there. And so I started my activist journey working with another organization called Students Active for Ending Rape, or SAFER. When I started working with that organization, that was when the issue of campus sexual assault really started to make national news. And suddenly, because of the leadership of the Obama administration, members of Congress started to pay attention, various state governments started to pay attention to what was happening. And I continued organizing in this field for quite some time. And then It's on Us happened in 2014. It's wild to think that this September is our 6th anniversary. But what started as It's on Us and a pledge to step in and stop sexual assault before it happens, and to support survivors when it sadly does, has now become this national organization and national movement that I am so incredibly proud to lead. At the core of It's On Us is the belief that no student should graduate college having experienced sexual assault. And so how do we make sure that campus communities and college students are equipped to identify the signs that sexual assault may occur, to step in as active bystanders when it is safe to do so, and to support survivors when they do come forward to share their stories with you, and to make sure that campus communities are responsive to the needs of survivors in a way that is trauma-informed and intersectional. And so when I was asked to take over It's On Us as the executive director a couple of years ago, I really just came here with that idea that I never wanted what happened to me and my friends to ever happen to somebody else. And so how do we make sure that at It's On Us and with our partner organizations in the field, we are working in lockstep to make sure that sexual violence on college campuses is prevented, that when somebody does experience sexual assault, that they as a survivor are supported, and that schools are held accountable if they fail survivors. And I know that right now, we're going to talk a little bit about Title IX throughout the course of the Summit series. I just want to acknowledge right now that with everything happening in our country around Title IX, and the idea that schools are somehow supposed to come into compliance with the new rule change by August 14th, I want you to know It's On Us is here for you. I believe Kendra would say NRAB on campus is also here for you during this difficult time. I also want to say that I stand in allyship, and It's On Us stands in allyship with all of the Black students and students of color right now who are just yet again facing more and more trauma at the hands of police brutality and communities that are not supporting them right now. And I want you to know we are a community that's there for you. We are here to support you in whatever way makes sense for you. So please don't hesitate to reach out during this really difficult time with those two issues, as well as COVID-19. The ongoing pandemic has been really, really challenging for our staff, for our students, for college administrators trying to figure out how they're going to reopen safely this year. And so I just want you all to know that we are here for you during this really difficult time as you head back to campus, either virtually, in person, or some hybrid. We are here for you, and we want you to be safe. So please, 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 please be safe, and we are here for you. Now I will turn it over to my other colleagues.
Okay, well, thank you to everyone for sharing, and thank you to all that are on the call and who will be joining us over the course of this series, whatever the reason is that brings you here. We are here with you in our community, virtual or other. We have an amazing lineup of programming to share with you, of so many amazing advocates and partners in this field. They will be taking place every week for the next 3 weeks on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Our partners are going to be presenting at noon and at 3 p.m. On those 3 days Eastern time. We did that so hopefully some of our friends on the West Coast can join. And we will have mental health exercises with special guests in between, so please tune in. Over the course of the 3 weeks, we also may be adding some content, so please check back on the website and on socials where we'll post about all of those. Our website is bit.ly, so bit.ly/Summit Series 20 in all caps. Register for any and all sessions there by clicking the registration link. You should immediately receive a confirmation email and calendar invite if you want to add it to your calendar. And at the time of the event, just make sure to click on the Zoom link there. You may have to download the Zoom app. We got some questions about that as well, but we are extremely excited to bring you this programming.
Thanks so much, Sylvia. I also just wanted to take a moment to thank all of our field partners, as well as our sponsors of It's On Us and EROC Summit Series. We have some really incredible speakers coming in the next couple of weeks. Everyone from our friends at Casa de Esperanza to our friends who are talking this afternoon about mental health during during COVID-19. And so we want to make sure that we are calling out all of their work and partnership over the next couple of weeks. So thank you so much to all of our field and organizational partners. I also want to give a special shout out to our It's On Us student leaders, both current and alumni, who will be participating throughout the course of the weeks coming up. We have some really great student stories that we're going to be able to share with you. So please tune in for those. I also want to say thank you to our summit sponsors, Icing and Claire's, who we will be announcing this shortly. But for folks who register for any of our events, Icing and Claire's, you'll be put in a random draw to receive an Icing and Claire's goodie bag. So we will be doing one winner per week over the next 3 weeks. Somebody will be chosen randomly to receive that Icing and Claire's goodie bag. So thank you so much to Icing and Claire's for their ongoing support of It's On Us over the years. Through their Roundup at the Register campaign, they have raised over $100,000 for It's On Us over the many years that we've worked with them. I also want to thank our partners Uber and Lyft, who have come in to support our work in this virtual summit over the last year. And I also want to say thank you to Tinder, who has graciously underwritten our new online dating safety educational program that Sylvia will be leading this week. So please tune in for that. It's the first of its kind online dating safety program that we've been able to roll out. And especially given everything with COVID-19, online dating is up. We want to make sure that you are doing that safely. So please tune in. And just thank you again to all of our partners and sponsors. You've all been really wonderful, and we're so grateful to have you as a part of this week.
Thanks so much, Tracy. And most importantly, I just want to say thank you a million times to all of you, our students who are on this call today. You are taking the first step in helping to eradicate sexual violence on campus across the country by just being on this call and by being a part of our virtual summit series this summer. It's a critical first step for everyone to take, and we hope that you'll stay with us over the next 3 weeks as we bring to you various sessions on sexual violence prevention and on mental health and the other topics that Tracy mentioned. Once again, you can go to bit.ly/summit series 20 to see the rest of the sessions in our lineup and register for any of them today. And if you haven't already, you can also go to itsonus.org and take the It's On Us pledge today, or endrapeoncampus.org and join the End Rape on Campus movement as well. We'll also in the coming weeks be announcing a Take Back Title IX Day of Action, in which there will be various actions that you can take to call on your campus to denounce the Title IX rule changes. With that being said, we would love to open it up for a Q&A period. So if you have any questions related to the summit series in general, or organizing on campus, or just how our organizations fit into the movement, we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. The chat is open for folks to message the host directly. So if you want to submit any questions you might have to the chat, we'll be happy to answer those. Feel free to submit your questions in the chat, and they will come directly to the host, and we will be happy to answer them.
So a question that came in is, how do It's On Us and EROC see themselves operating in this new post-Title IX rule environment? Kenyora, do you want to start on the EROC side?
Hi, yes, thank you, Tracy. Thank you so much. what I would say is for NRAPE on campus, how we will be moving forward with Title IX is, of course, in partnership with It's on Us, beyond the Summit Series, but also in partnership with other field partners to really bring together students across the nation to galvanize and really engage in a lot of different on-campus and virtual actions to really bolster what's going on with Title IX, and to also understand, what the regulations mean for student survivors and how they strip away their rights. We also will be engaging with our Reclaiming Red Zones, which starts in August all the way to November. We'll be focusing on different aspects on what one could reclaim in terms of sexual violence that happens for the most part during the beginning of the school semester. Because as we know, about 100,000 college students are sexually assaulted on their campuses at the start of the school year, and it's particularly with freshmen that this happens to. And so we'll be bringing a lot of attention through our Reclaiming Red Zones campaign. We'll be focusing on essentially reclaiming and, re-empowering ourselves as survivors who've gone through this traumatic experience to essentially understand and learn, what it means for us in terms of our own healing journey, and also some action steps that we can take to ensure that our schools and campuses are held accountable for how the Title IX regulations, if they happen to be in effect as of August 14th, really diving into how schools can really be held accountable for ensuring that, there are certain aspects within Title IX that the school can really hone in on and claim and really support their students. Because that's the number one thing that we want to ensure, is that colleges across the nation truly understand how dangerous these regulations truly are. And so the first things there is just really utilizing this Summit Series space as a way to equip you all with those tools to understand what Title IX means, what types of actions you can take, which you'll hear about in our Day of Action coming up, as Alvin mentioned, but also throughout our Reclaiming Red Zones campaign, and even beyond that. As I mentioned before, we provide direct support services for students. So anyone who is dealing with even a current Title IX investigation, we are able to offer some legal referrals for students who need attorney support and understanding of how to just navigate through these regulations. Because even for us, some things are a bit unclear. And I think that is what the Department of Education and Betsy DeVos has actually tried to instill, is to make these Title IX regulations unclear for us, and to make it hard to navigate through. And they shouldn't be that hard. They shouldn't be dangerous. And they should not put perpetrators on a higher pedestal. And so we'll be doing a lot of work, again, as I mentioned, with our field partners, but especially with you all as student survivors. We'll be engaging with you all to learn more from you as well, on, which directions you would want to see us take and how you would want to be a part of the action. We can't prescribe all the necessary, actions, because everyone has a different way and a different pathway in which they navigate through this space. So I know I said a lot, but there's a lot more to come. And I'll hand it back over to Tracy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kenyora. On It's On Us's side, one of the things that I want to call out is that when I came in as the It's On Us executive director in 2017, it was shortly after Betsy DeVos was put in as the Secretary of Education. We knew that she was going to be really detrimental to issues of campus sexual assault and survivor rights and just students' civil liberties writ large. And one of the things that I committed to was that regardless of what happened with the rule changes, that It's On Us would continue to provide free easy to use, downloadable educational tools and resources through our website. And we started the journey of building out those incredible resources and tools that Sylvia has so artfully crafted during her time here with the team. Because at the end of the day, we sadly, in this administration, cannot rely on the federal government to protect students and to ensure that campuses are safe. And so we at It's On Us, and myself personally, took it as our mission to ensure that students still had access to high quality prevention education tools and survivor support resources during this really challenging time. So please, you can always go to the It's On Us website. All the educational materials that are currently available are free for download and use. We've intentionally made them so that way students can adapt them to their own unique campus environment, because we understand, right, that like what's happening at a community college may look different from what's happening at a traditional four-year institution, may look different from what's happening at an HBCU or at a school that has a massive NCAA program. So please go download those tools, use them in your campus community. I also want to call out that outside of Title IX, there are two other major laws that hold schools accountable around the issue of campus sexual assault, the Clery Act being one of them, around reporting of data, and the Campus Save Act, which does prescribe for schools to do specific and certain amounts of prevention education and survivor support. So while the Title IX fight is the massive one, I want you to know that there is a safety net with Campus Save and with the Clery Act that you can rely on, in addition to the support that It's On Us and EROC will provide to you during this really challenging time. One of the other questions that I'll just answer quickly that came through is this summit series mainly geared towards students involved in their chapters of It's On Us already, or everyone who cares about the movement? So first and foremost, we do see the summit series as being a capacity and knowledge building platform for students, whether they have been working with their It's On Us chapter, whether they're thinking about starting an It's On Us chapter, or whether they are working with a different organization on their college campus that does something similar to what we do at It's On Us. The summit series was created because of COVID-19. Previously, we held a weekend-long summit that was in person for college students only. Last year, we held it at Ohio University. We were so grateful to have them come on board. This year, we had been planning on hosting an in-person summit at the University of Rhode Island, but unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we felt that that was unsafe and made the decision to transition to this virtual summit series. So again, all are welcome, but most of the content will be geared towards increasing the capacity and knowledge and tools in the toolbox of campus organizers nationwide who are working to prevent sexual assault on college campus and support survivors and advocate for their rights when it sadly does occur.
Thank you, Tracy. Someone asked in the chat if, where's the question? If we organize on high school campuses, and right now the answer is no, we don't specifically have chapters on high school campuses, but high school students are welcome to participate in the virtual summit series, and they can also join our email list and take the It's On Us pledge at itsonus.org.
Thanks, Alvin. Let's see. Someone else asked in the chat, will anyone be talking about Title VII and the recent U.S. Supreme Court decision and its possible impact on Title IX and LGBTQ+ communities? So, spoiler alert, we actually do have a session that will be on this. We are going to have a really amazing panel of student advocates that will be posted to our website soon, so you can register for that. And we are going to talk about the impacts of this new decision, both on the LGBTQ+ community, as it relates to gender-based violence and as it relates to both campuses and the workplace. So please tune in. We're going to post that officially soon, and we will be able to cover some of those topics. And I can't say enough about the students that we're going to have on that panel. So look out for that.
And someone did also ask a question about, is there any political action committees in your organization working with Congress or the Biden campaign to roll back the recent Title IX changes? And I'll also have my partner Tracy also talk a little bit about the Biden part of this question, but wanting to elaborate a little bit more on our Take Back 9 day of action. We will have several different ways in which you as students themselves, because we don't have political action committees necessarily, whereas It's On Us does have their regional advisors that will be able to partake in these actions and then some. But for the purpose in which the Summit Series has been developed, particularly around our day of action, we will have several different opportunities in which you can engage with your local and state legislators on Title IX and how you can take action, because what we know is that one, not only does it take a village, but it also, there's power in numbers. And so with the day of action, we will essentially be showcasing a number of different ways in which you can engage with your state, local, and your campus presidents as well, in regards to rolling back Title IX. And then Tracy, if you want to talk a little bit about the Biden piece.
Yes, absolutely. So It's On Us and Enrape on Campus are both 501c3 organizations. We have a nonprofit status, which means that we have to remain nonpartisan. And when it comes to candidates for office, so because Vice President Biden is now currently running for president, he is a candidate for office. So our ability to comment on the Biden campaign for president is very limited. However, I will point to Vice President Biden released a press statement when the Title IX rule change was announced, committing to undoing the harm that the DeVos administration in the Department of Education has done with this Title IX rule change. And he committed that his administration, if elected, will work to undo these harmful rules and put back into place a rule change that is supportive of survivors and focuses on trauma-informed, research-based, and informed prevention and survivor support measures. So there will be more to come if he is elected, I'm sure, on that issue. But right now, he has publicly committed to continuing to fight for the rights of students and safe campuses nationwide if he is elected president. So I would encourage you, if you are interested in learning more about the vice president's stance on this, to go to his campaign site. There you can find more about his violence against women for the 21st century policy there, as well as his statement on the Title IX rule change.
Thanks, Tracy. So I'm seeing that we got another question in the chat. Let's see where it is. Oops, sorry. As an educator, I unfortunately see very few classes that address assertiveness training, which may very well decrease the number of assaults both on campus and the workplace. Could you speak to the need for this kind of class? Thank you. And then as a second part, what has changed on Title IX? Please head to the EROC website. We have a Title IX decoded page where we go pretty in depth to that. But I can talk about classes a little bit. So we believe that the training that does exist on campus should be peer-led. So we really encourage schools to empower their students to provide those trainings. And what we do as an organization is we basically just put our heads together and gather the information and then provide all of these best practices to the students so that they can present to each other. The reason we do that is because students one receives information in a way differently from someone that they can relate to. So we feel really strongly about that and encourage schools to empower the students and provide them funding to be able to do this rather than having their own outside sponsored trainings that are mandatory for the students. So we encourage them to really invest in that. But that is that is really how we feel about the trainings. And this is something that you can, again, find through our resources and tools tab if you have any other questions on it.
If there are any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat for the host and we'll be sure to respond to them.
Hi everyone. We received a question in the chat about from someone saying that they've been told that campus security will not respond to calls because of COVID-19, and what should they do about it? I would reach out to campus security to clarify exactly what that means, because they do have a duty to respond if an incident is severe. So I would contact them and ask what the safety protocol would need to be around COVID-19 if there is an incident on campus, because campus security, if it is a body that you wish to engage because something has happened, they should be responsive to that, and they should have protocols in place for doing so safely with COVID-19. I know that there have been a lot of EMS and other emergency and law enforcement bodies across the country have been struggling with how to respond to incidents with COVID-19 pandemic going on, but many of them have put into place health and safety protocols. So I would ask the campus security what exactly those health and safety protocols look like, why they are not responding, and then if you aren't able to get a clear response to that, I would elevate it to student services such as a dean's office or some other governing body on campus to understand better why campus security is not responding, because at the end of the day it is their duty to protect students if something is going on and you feel the need to call them. So that would be my answer there.
Also, I saw a question that came in as well about if we offer any support groups. At this time, currently, both It's On Us and NRAPE on campus do not offer those, but we do have a number of different resources that you may be looking for, and you can head to nrapeoncampus.org under our Learn More tab, where whether it's through our legal and wellness resources or centering the margins, you can find a number of different resources that may pertain to just the number of identities that you may hold, where you might feel a little bit more comfortable with engaging with a particular group of advocates and fellow survivors. So if you head there, you can find a number of different resources there at your fingertips.
Someone asked if It's On Us and NRAPE on campus have tools or resources to engage university alumni in supporting this important work. Like I mentioned before, if you join either of our email lists or take the pledge, that's also a super way of staying informed as an alumni and how you can get involved in this important work. Oftentimes when there's a change around Title IX or in other legislation, including some efforts to create legislation on the statewide level that we are working on with some of our partners that you'll hear from over this series. We'll pass out information on how you can get involved in those actions, and also how you can get involved with some of the actions that we'll have coming up around Title IX, with pushing back with letter writing and reaching out to university administration, and just being vocal as an alumni of that campus. Also, if you are still in touch with folks that are current students on any of the campuses, we would ask that you encourage them to start an It's On Us chapter if one doesn't already exist. And then, of course, in order to keep this important work moving for both of our organizations, we are a nonprofit organization. We rely on grassroots donations as part of our funding, so you can always make a donation to It's On Us or NRAPE on campus on our websites to help us keep doing this important work and supporting our chapters around the country.
I can answer this question that I received because others may have a similar question. But do we offer support groups of any kind? And right now we don't. We are building a virtual community. So right now we're focusing on how to do that best. And we are working with our legal counsel to also figure out how we're allowed to do that, because this is just a whole new world for us, for both of our organizations too. So we do want to say that we are working on that, and we want to continue to build this virtual community, to continue to make it possible for you to connect with other survivors on the other side of the country, maybe on the other side of the world, who are studying abroad. And so please look out for information on that, and just know that we're really working on it.
Well, thank you all so much for those incredible questions, and we hope you'll stick with us over the next 3 weeks and into the school year for some of the actions that we have coming up as part of the virtual summit series. Just a reminder that you can go to bit.ly/summit series 20, that's all capital, to see all of the sessions that are coming up for the summit series and to register for each of them individually. And you should get a confirmation email with the link to join. We're so excited to have you over the next few weeks and as part of the movement in general.